Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Sorry to all of my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so, and I hope that you're all super duper well, super duper wonderful, and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously. Must keep a handle on it. Now then, so it's nearly 25 past 11 a.m. in the morning, my delicious little babies, okay, in our old England. The sun is shining. There's a lot of not so very nice fluffy clouds. Sorry, see, stumbled there. Okay, the most tiniest bit of a strange coloured blue in the sky, and it's rather chilly. Okay, my delicious little babies. So that's the weather forecast in our old England. Okay. Now, I'm not going to be able to send any comments. So I managed to send some yesterday. That doesn't mean no. And, well, basically, my delicious little babies, I just put, thank you. You know what I mean? When I will send a comment, to another channel, I usually do it if if I feel it's necessary to do it, do you know what I mean? Or I'm trying to, politely, very politely, not nastily, I wouldn't do that, do you know what I mean? If I feel that it's necessary, to sort of point something out, do you see what I mean? Okay. But other than that, I mean, for the channels that I watch, they're super duper, there we are banging, do you see what I mean? Okay. I can only put a like. So we're back to this again, my delicious little babies, okay? So YouTube now, so I'm not allowed to send any comments for a day. Okay, my delicious little babies. So it seems to myself as if they're trying to make something stick. There we are. That's the word I just got, to make something stick, okay? It'd be very interesting to see how many others there we are, this is happening to. So who can post a comment, who cannot. So it's gone from every other day to at the moment, it's there we are, it's going every day. Do you understand what I mean? It's like they allow a few comments to be sent, like thank you, dear, or thank you. You know what I mean? And, God bless, and you know what I mean? Or blessings to you, do you say? And then what they then do is then they put me back on the block again. That doesn't mean I just got an itch, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. So anyway, the only thing that I can do, which I have been doing, the only thing I can do is put a like. So I put a like, and there's nothing else I can do. If there's videos that I need to share, then I share the videos, okay? But to do with anything else, there's nothing I could do about it, my delicious little babies. This is simple things, how YouTube is rocking and rolling at the moment, my delicious little babies. It appears that obviously they have a problem with myself. I cannot spare a thought why, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? After all, if we look at, let's just say, how much just going over the dots, sorry, excuse me, how much there we are useful information, they seem to have used my channel, there we are, my channel for my delicious little babies, there we are, do you see what I'm saying? Yes. So they're clearly not wanting me to, maybe what this could be, I'm just trying to spare a thought here, maybe this could be, because I keep saying that, this is to protect the YouTube community, protect the, and a detected, a comment or whatever. Well, what comments? So I'll repeat it again, YouTube. What effing comment now? Do you know what I mean? I do not feel that I've done anything wrong, of late. Okay? And anyway, nobody should have to say that. I'm not effing 5-year-old now, do you know what I mean? I'm a big woman, I'm a grown woman. Ugh. But we'll continue. There we are, going over the dots, my delicious babies. I'm not shouting at you. And I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're having a delicious and wonderful time. And I hope that the weather is better than our weather. Okay, my delicious babies, wherever you are. Now then, and how I love you also, okay? And thank you for any views, for any likes, and for the occasional comments. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, my little beautifuls that you are, you delicious and wonderful little lovelies. Okay, so I'm not going to let it get the better of myself, my delicious babies, do you know what I mean? You know, anyone who knows that I send a comment, a pleasant comment, will know if they cross my channel. There we are. The reason why for this, but this is now getting into, there we are, every day. Do you know what I mean? It's like they give you a tiny bit and then they flip in, then they throw everything at you. There we are, my delicious babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. But like I said, what is it that they're so afraid of? Just asking a question. Do you know what I mean? Could it be, getting back to what I was saying, could it be that maybe they're not wanting myself to, maybe highlight, channels who give out, there we are, excellent information? There we are, my delicious babies. Could that be the reason? Yes. Anyway, I'm not going to let it bother me. So just carry on, YouTube. I really couldn't give Figgler's F, you know what I mean? So whatever floats your boat at the end of the day, you know what I mean? But if you do it too enough, well, they'll just get peed off and go somewhere else. There's plenty of other platforms, isn't there? Which, there we are, which I'm going to be joining very shortly. I'm not going to say the name right now. My delicious little babies. I'm not going to say the name right now. Okay? I may have to do this, there we are, a different way. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay? Because if I say it now, then I know what's going to happen. There we are. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? That's why I'm not going to do it. Okay? It is a smaller platform, my delicious little babies. Okay? But so saying that, you know, may be able to get, there we are, more and more to, if they are not already on there. So I'm not talking about some alternative media where they are in a lot of different platforms where they put out their content, you know, bless them. And with anybody not in that way, not in that way. I'm talking about, you know, our delicious little babies out there, you know, who maybe have not heard of this particular platform before, my delicious little babies, okay? But for the alternative media, I'm pretty sure they would have done for most of them, do you know what I mean, okay? Although, you know what, across my shoulders, I didn't get much there. So I do not feel that maybe there are as many who know about this platform. I don't know, because I'm not really getting much. Anyway, my delicious babies, but there's always a way, there we are, that I can get me information, there we are, out. Do you see what I mean, okay? So when I'm ready, I will be doing it in the next couple of days. I've just got to do a tiny bit of cleaning now when I get off my video to you all, my little beautifuls, and thank you once again. Okay, I'm so very thankful and I appreciate everything. But yeah, then I'm going to be a bit busy, so I'm not going to be able to, but I need to have a look at this, and I need to make a couple of phone calls. One, to do my fences, but I need to have a look at this platform. I know exactly, there we are, which one I'm going on. Do you see what I mean? Okay, but I'll have to get my information out another way, because otherwise, it's, you know, they get wind of it. Do you know what I mean? My delicious, there we are, little babies, you know what I mean? There could be, maybe, there we are, a little bit of sabotage. Do you understand what I mean? My delicious little babies, you never know, do you? Because after all, there's always somebody listening and somebody watching. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. Now then, so let's move along with this. So yeah, I watched yesterday evening, came up on my feed, my delicious little babies. And this is, so they're all on YouTube, okay? This video here is, was it a few days ago, 3 or 4 days ago, or I don't know, it could be 9 days ago, when this video was uploaded. It's 4 minutes and nearly 50 seconds long, my delicious little babies. So in the old space bar, should anybody happen to have any form of an interest, capital K, please and thank you, capital K, this is the uploader, my delicious little babies, Killer space, capital Q, Queen, space, capital K, Kathleen. Okay, Marzlichtig babies. So it should read, the uploader, Killer, space, Queen, space, Kathleen. Okay, Marzlichtig babies. Okay, now then. So, right. This upload happens to have 819 subscribers, my delicious little babies. The video should read, Mama Moose gives birth in front of office building. Okay, my delicious little babies. So I'm just going to repeat that again for you. Mama Moose gives birth in front of office building. Okay, my delicious little babies. Now then, oh, this is so beautiful. But anyway, what's the point to what I'm saying about this video? If you look at the little moose, okay, well, you know, very quiet, very patient, okay, and you know, you could see where the beautiful little moose is, you know, breathing. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so the beautiful little moose never had anybody around her, bless her. Okay, oh, they're so beautiful, aren't they? So are all beautiful, little and large birdies, little and large animals, and little creatures, great and small. Sorry, didn't need to stumble in. They're all so beautiful, aren't they? But she gave birth in the office area. It's very interesting to read the comments. I do say this, my delicious little babies, on my videos. I do say this because it's very interesting to see what others put. Do you see what I mean? Okay. Somebody had put on there, you know, our beautiful little moose gave birth outside the office building. Okay. Because she knew that there wouldn't be any predators around. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yes, okay. Well, of course, there we are. That would make perfect sense. There we are. Yes, it would. Do you know what I mean? Okay, maybe it was a place where, you know, she just felt safer. Of course, maybe, you know, if you're going to give birth, you know what I mean? It doesn't always go, shall we say, plain sailing. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I mean, there's been many different stories, hasn't there, Martha, little babies? You know what I mean? When little baby wants to come when they want to come, okay? So there's nothing that's going to stop little bambino coming. Do you know what I mean? Okay? So it could have been that as well, okay? But yeah, I did agree with that comment as well. You know, maybe it's a safer, do you understand what I mean? But it was all just so beautiful and natural. Now, this morning, that doesn't mean no, it was just beautiful and natural anyway. But thank you to the, you know, the uploader who, you know, who filmed it. I mean, I know that they do not ask to get filmed, our beautiful little babies. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, but it shows you that we are nature, doesn't it? Marzlichtig babies, Kai. So yeah, but I was watching this morning our lovely UK column news on YouTube, Marzlichtig babies, and you'll also find their lovely videos on you know, UK column, you know, their own website, Marzlichtig babies. Anyway, and there happened to be a German there, and he was talking to a doctor. What was his name? Stu. Anyway, there was talking all about you know, giving birth. Okay, sorry, Mads, little baby. 3, 2, 1, Margie's little lads. Thank you, little lads. You're delicious and bright. I'm a bit late in 14 minutes, Mads, little babies. Anyway, yeah. And I just thought to myself, well, I'd watch that. So anyway, it's all, you know, the way I see it is. I just thought, you know what I mean? Because I was going to write the video down about the little moose. Oh, but it did look like, but then the video cuts off then, but it did look like, you know, mommy and baby. Do you understand what I mean? I should have imagined that they were fine. But then I also seen yesterday evening where this beautiful deer horse, bless, gave birth, and very sadly, her beautiful little Val, her little baby, very sadly was stillborn. Anyway, it was really sad with that beautiful little horse because, you know, kept trying to lick her baby, who, the stable and the owners named the little baby Star. Do you see what I mean? Okay, but, went to beautiful, the beautiful heaven. Do you know what I mean? But, yeah, but she kept licking her baby, you know what I mean? As if to try to bring her little baby back to life. And anyway, so, they let Mama Bear and, or Mama Horse and baby little horse, stay together for a while. And then, they gently, took the little baby away. But then they got a call to say that another dear mum, little horse, had passed away in whilst giving birth. And they needed, for the little baby, the little, fowl who was left, they needed a foster mum. So look at how that happened. There we are, Mardish little babies, and that was all within less than 24 hours, Mardish little babies. As it turned out, the beautiful little Val and the beautiful little, mommy horse who lost her baby horse, well, they took to each other like just figure of speech, just words, like a duck to water, you know what I mean? And they fell in love with each other, not in that way, you know what I mean? But, because she was clearly grieving because she lost her little baby. And of course, little baby one here now was grieving because he'd lost his mammy. Do you see what I mean? So it ended up a lovely story. Well, it's not a lovely story, it's flipping reality. But what's my point to what I'm saying? It shows you tragic cases. Well, we get the same with mankind, don't we, my delicious little babies? You know what I mean? You can have some pregnancies, expectancies, where it goes super duper deliciously well. And very sadly, you have where it has not gone so very well, my delicious little babies. Do you know what I mean? Anyway. But I was listening to our lovely UK column news this morning with that video. It's a very interesting video, my delicious little babies, to listen to. I think they're up to 11 point, is it 8 or 9,000 subscribers now? Oh, bless. I'm so super duper pleased. Do you know what I mean? When everybody's numbers go up. And our lovely iconic Space Garra Space Arc. That's how I type it in, because otherwise it comes up with hair straighteners. I keep saying that. They're up to now 6.93 thousand subscribers. So fan dabby dursy to you all, my little lovelies. Of course, with anybody not in that way, not in that way. Anyway, my little babies. So so that little one's ticked off, and I hope and pray that all the beautiful little babies who I've just mentioned, that they are thriving and be most prosperous, and that they continue to live their beautiful lives. Now then, my little babies, okay. Now the next one, my little babies. Now I used to listen to this your man here. Now then, bless him. That doesn't mean And but guess what? He's back on YouTube, my little babies. Look at that. He's back on YouTube. Now, I seen a video of his yesterday, my little babies, and you could put a comment, and ones are putting a comment saying, oh, it's really wonderful, James, that you're back on YouTube. Do you know what I mean, my little babies? He has 544,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies. In the old space bar again, should anybody have any form of an interest, capital C, Corbett, spelt CORBETT, report, capital R, then EPORT, so Corbett Report, 2 words into one. Okay, my delicious babies. And the video should read, this is just over 32 minutes long. Mission unaccomplished. Yes. Then a question mark, I always put 2. The Corbett Report is back on YouTube. Yes. Fan dabby dursy, James Corbett, bless you. Do you know what I mean, my delicious babies? Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful, because he's done a lot of, his alternative news, there we are, for many years. because when I very first seen James Corbett, right, I mentioned him, oh gosh, it's got to be a couple of years ago now, I'm sure it is, on one of my videos, My Delicious Little Babies. He just looked very, like, I don't know, not very happy or like a bit sad. But the news that what he was delivering, there we are, was absolutely banging. Do you know what I mean? Brilliant. So I'm not sure as to why he got removed from YouTube. Although we could say that about rather a large number actually, who happened to go through similar problems. My Delicious Little Babies not so many years ago. But it's fantastic now. So fan dabby does they are. Good on you, James Corbett. So he's back on just the same as good on you. Our lovely dear UK column. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what happened with them, and then they got back on. So what we would like to see is others to get back on. Do you see what I mean? Okay, my Delicious Little Babies. But what was I going to say to you now? Yeah. So that's that. Yeah, but marvellous. Yeah, really good news. Because, you've got some of the alternative media, My Delicious Little Babies, okay, where all they do is just give out bullshit. And, of course, the ones who give out bullshit end up with a colossal following, do you see what I mean, and subscribers. And the ones which I regard as being, there we are, as truthful as they possibly, there we are, to their heart can be, well, it's like the continuously, you know what I mean, having things thrown at them, and do you know what I mean? And in many cases, negative comments and things like this now then, do you know what I mean? Okay, usually from ones who do not know their backside from their elbow, do you know what I mean? But they're quite happy to send negative comments, do you see what I mean? Okay, but of course that's life, isn't it, My Delicious Little Babies? It's sort of like how some have designed it, if you're following My Delicious Little Babies, please and thank you. So yeah, brilliant that as well. Yeah, really pleased at that, because the Corbett Report, he covers a lot of things. He lives in Japan, I think, with his wife and that, so he's lived there for some years now. Okay, My Delicious Little Babies, and he was covering Japan. When was it? When I could still watch our lovely BitChute. What was that to do with? Oh yeah, to do with that, My Delicious Little Babies. Well, it seems to myself, anyway, I've known a long time that this has not slowed down, has it? My Delicious Little Babies, clearly not. Still pushing things, it seems. I did mention it. Now then, My Delicious Little Babies, so the next one, okay, that doesn't mean no. The next one, My Delicious Little Babies, okay, this is on YouTube as well. Like I said, they're all on YouTube. Came up on my feed. And this upload happens to have 2.79 thousand subscribers, My Delicious Little Babies. This is just over 21 minutes long, My Delicious Little Babies. In the old space bar, in old YouTube, once again, if anybody has any form of interest, capital H, Harrison, space, capital P, painter, as if to say, I've got the painters in today. Okay, My Delicious Little Babies, okay? That's the uploader. So, should read Harrison Space Painter. Now, the video should read, they ran a secret AR experiment on millions. No one knew. Okay, My Delicious Little Babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? They ran a secret AR experiment on millions. No one knew. Now then, what he's talking about, My Delicious Little Babies, is to do with, what's it called, that Reddit? Is it Reddit? And I think, what did he say? Something about, because I was only about 10 minutes into it. I will listen to the rest of it, My Delicious Little Babies. And this will probably just be a one-off that I advertise. Okay, My Delicious Little Babies. There's some sort of, what is it, there we are, lawsuit that's either going to be, has already started taking place, My Delicious Little Babies. But of course, if you look at it, I mean, come on. They haven't asked for our consent with anything, not with the flipping zazums. Look at the colour of these flipping dark flipping scars now. I mean, if you could see them, My Delicious Little Babies, do you know what I mean? Okay, this is what they're done doing now, My Delicious Little Babies. Stumbled again, but I'm not changing my video. But yeah, they've been doing this long time, haven't they? So they never give consent. They never ask, anybody to give their consent. They just take it upon them damn selves just to do what the effing hell they like, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay. Anyway, what he's also talking about, your man here now. I noticed that he's wearing a bright orange watch. You know, there are a couple of dots of the blue there. Yeah, clock that. He talks about the AI. That what did he say? He uses a bit of it to himself or something like this now. Then, well, to be honest with you, you will hear some uploaders, my delicious little babies, who do say this. Okay, so this is nothing unusual to myself. Okay, my delicious little babies, it's what you hear anyway. So yeah, so that's worth a little listen. But like I said, it'd be more than likely be just a one-off, just like the little killer queen Kathleen. Do you know what I mean? You know, that'll most likely be a one-off. You know what I mean? It's just I was just trying to there we are get a point across to you. So what I mean, my little babies, you know, that things should be done there we are naturally. Do you know what I mean? Okay. But it's interesting, isn't it, that the name Killer Queen Kathleen. Yeah. Bit similar to who's the one who's married to the fake king's son in our old England, my delicious little babies. Is her name Catherine? My delicious little babies. Could be Catherine, couldn't it? Yeah. When they came out not so long ago. So you had the putrid fake king, and then you had his putrid daughter-in-law birth coming out and saying that the birth had the same illness. My delicious little babies, when usually nobody's ever heard of that in a fake royal family. My delicious little babies. Yes. Just interesting, isn't it, when you look at, you know what I mean? Really interesting. Anyway, my delicious little babies, I'm not talking about, you know, the uploader, you know what I mean? It's just, you know, like sometimes when something just crosses your noddle. Anyway, my delicious little babies, now finally, okay, this upload happens to have 254 subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? And this is it about, I forgot now, is it nearly 3 minutes long? It's not long at all, my delicious little babies, okay? And it's called, this is the upload of my delicious little babies, this is what they call, capital A in the old search engine, spacebar, sorry, adventures, space, capital R in, or is it lowercase? Sorry, space, capital G, Gonzo, and then capital V, Vision. Okay, my delicious little babies. So it should read, this is the uploader, adventures in Gonzo Vision. Okay, my delicious little babies. This again will more than likely be a one-off. Okay, my delicious little babies. Okay, so if something pops up on my feed and then I happen to say to myself, okay, yeah, I've listened to that, yeah, I'll, you know, give it out as some information, okay? Sometimes I see ones on my feed and think, nah, you know, I don't want to give that out, or there's a reason, there we are, why I just do not give it out, okay? I just do not feel that it's going to help really as much as what I would like it to. Do you understand what I mean, my delicious little babies? So, you know, that's no disrespect, do you know what I mean? Because ones, you know, they work hard, don't they, with their videos, but sometimes I know what, there we are, I know what I'm looking for, my delicious, there we are, little babies. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so that's all that I'm interested in, if you know what I mean. So this video should read, what this dragon on a church reveals about ancient Britain. Okay, my delicious little babies, like I said, I think it's nearly 3 minutes long, like I said. I'll just repeat that again for you. What this dragon on a church reveals about ancient Britain, yeah. So your man there, but it just shows a man on a motorbike, and he's going through, where's he going through? And he's going through different places, Leeds, Liverpool, do you know what I mean? Martelishnik baby, see what? But the point is, he's at this church anyway, talking about his church, talking about, stumbling there, talking about, this particular church, and, the dragon on it and everything, delicious little babies. You see, for myself, I happen to love little dragons. Do you know what I mean? Especially when I did my healing course. I mean, I've always been a healer, but this is a different thing. It's a qualified angelic healer. And, when we were talking about dragons, in the room, when I was doing my course, and we just had a completely blue sky. I said this before. And I said, because I happen to love dragons, like I said. And when we went outside, it was pure blue sky, not like now, my delicious little babies. And right up in the sky, you could just see the shape of a dragon. It's absolutely, the tutor's jaw dropped. She's never seen nothing like that before in her life. Do you see what I mean? Okay, my delicious little babies. But, there we are. Yeah, do you know what I mean? It's like I was meant to, there we are, go there. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Yes. Anyway, so very interesting, my delicious little babies, okay? So that's all the videos, so I don't need to look at anything else. We always need to go back to where we need to go back to. So, yeah, anybody who I would usually send a message to, comment to say thank you, because I enjoy listening to the videos. Okay, I feel that there we are, because I do have my favourites, you know what I mean, that they bang out some excellent videos. Okay, well, for most, they always bang out excellent videos. Okay, well, I always put a like anyway, as well as saying thank you. Okay, and again, with anybody, not in that way, not in that way. But and even if I do not always comment on others, you know what I mean, I will always put a like all the time. Do you see what I mean? Okay. Sometimes I will only comment, if, like I said, if I feel that it's really necessary for me to. Do you see what I mean? Okay. But just to say thank you in that. So I'm not going to be able to do that for anybody. I'm very sorry. But it's out of my hands because I do not make the rules. Somebody else makes the rules, and it's all bad design, my delicious little babies, bad design. Do you see what I mean? Okay. But of course, I'm not going to let it faze me. Do you know what I mean? Because clearly they're wanting me to get used to something, aren't they? They're wanting me to get used to not being able to comment, it seems, my delicious little babies. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes. Okay. But that's it. Oh, and one last thing. With the Corbett report, well, there are two things actually. With the Corbett report on our lovely Corbett report, okay, on YouTube, and again, not in that way, not in that way. There's nowhere to comment. Now, when I looked, was it yesterday in another video, you could comment, but on this one, you cannot comment. There's nowhere to comment. Okay, my delicious little babies. Can you see how, there we are, how this is rocking and rolling, okay? So, and that's that. And finally, I was listening to a bit of a video, actually. It's a young man, and he went to go and live in Dubai. So I haven't listened to, I was umming and ahhing whether to write this down. I am going to listen to the rest of it now. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, while I've got just a little bit of time at the moment, okay, this morning. And then I'll make a decision whether I'm going to advertise this video tomorrow, my delicious little babies, okay? But again, that would usually be a one-off. It's interesting with some of the comments. I'll just give you a quick briefly, okay? So your young man there now, so he went to Dubai for a couple of years, okay? And the reason why he went, well, he's very honest in his camera. I mean, you cannot knock him for that. He said he went because he was, so he didn't have to pay the tax. So was it something to do like $1 million or something like this? Well, anyway, some of the comments are interesting, my delicious little babies, okay? I always say, if you made your change, you made your change at the end of the day. If you can manage to save some ka-ching, 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 you know what I mean, and go to another country, there we are. Well, they've been good on you, do you know what I mean? Because after all, tax is, well, it's voluntary, isn't it? But the thing is, because ones feel that they have to pay the tax, I mean, I used to always have to pay the tax, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's, if you're working for a company, whether it's be a family-run company or whether it's be a corporate company, the fact of the matter is that they usually do the wages. Do you know what I mean? Mad delicious little babies, okay? So whether you like it or not, it's taken out your wage packet, isn't it, mad delicious little babies, okay? But as we found out over the years, they're actually voluntary, but they make out and they come down on one so much, you know what I mean? They put them in such a state of, I know somebody who I spoke to recently, and bless their dear little souls, just somebody who I know who I was talking to on a dog and bone. I'm talking somebody, I'm just talking about somebody, bless, but yeah, and they had to move their home, to another home because, because the landlord or landwoman wanted the property back because the old taxman now wanted so many grands, shall we say, over 20. My delicious little babies, okay? So the fact of the matter was, they really loved living where they were living, even though they've moved to somewhere larger, but they loved where they were living, which was smaller. Do you see what I mean? Okay. And the fact of the matter is that, so that one there is going to be paying the tax. But according to what we have learned, there we are over the years, it is voluntary, isn't it, my delicious little babies? But they make out that there we are, that you must pay it. Do you see what I mean? Okay. So let's get back to this Dubai one now then. So I haven't got to the part yet. I think I was only about 8 or 10 minutes in or something like this. Now, I will listen to it. It's not a long video. I think it's about 20 odd minutes long. And then he's clearly going to be explaining the reason why he came back. Okay. He did mention, because I was up to that part as well, where he said that Dubai is, well, these are my words, his words, yeah. But I would say super duper clean. He says, but to the point where it's too clean. Oh, yeah. When he said that, my delicious little babies, okay, I thought to myself, yes, you know what I mean, okay? This is why I say, anyway, I could say a lot more, my delicious little babies, but now I'm going to be over and out. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? Interesting, isn't it? Yeah. And then you go to the other side, like China, where very few can get clean oil to cook, for their populations, including tourists who come to visit, where they have to go and fish dirty oil out the drains, my delicious little babies. And I have seen it because I've seen it on the China Show on YouTube, my delicious little babies. I think they're up to now, bless them. Again, not in that way. 353,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies. That's banging, that is, the China Show. Do you know what I mean? Okay, I've seen it with my own eyes because there we are, because they show you. Do you see what I mean? Okay, and both of them are married to Chinese women. They're wives. Do you see what I mean? My delicious little babies, okay? So, and they lived in China for a long time. I've said this before, my delicious little babies, okay? So I'm not telling porcupines. Do you know what I mean? I'm not fibbing to you, telling lies. It was very clear that we had to say. And not all of them clean their oil. So you've got that side with that business that's going on. And then you got Dubai. And what did your man there say as well? So it's all coming back to me now when I was just listening before I came on my camera to you, all your beautiful little selves, my beautiful little babies. He was saying that, yeah, you can order anything. You can order petrol. You know, if you need petrol, you know, it's door to door. Do you know what I mean? Marzlish babies. And yes. Anyway, so I'm going to listen to the rest of it. If I feel that it's, you know, maybe, I don't know, going to be useful to somebody out there, Marzlish babies, you never know, do you? Okay. Then I should give out the information, okay? But I was umming and ahhing at the moment because I just needed to get my video out, okay? Marzlish babies. But yeah, you can never knock anybody who's trying to save themselves tax, okay? Me personally, I always hated, you know, when I used to look at my wage slip, you know, because we used to get a lot of cash in hand at one time, okay? Mad delicious babies, ching, 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 cash is king, isn't it? But when I used to look at my slip, I've got to be honest, it did used to effing pay me off. Because you think, you know, you worked all flipping month or you worked all week. Do you know what I mean? And then they flipping deduct this national insurance, flipping silly damn business. And then they flipping, do you know what I mean? Deduct your tax now then, right? Imagine how many loaves of bread, bags of sugar. Well, I mean, you know, not that I'm telling everybody to go out and buy bags of sugar. I'm just using it as an example. Look at how many pints of milk you could buy with that. Do you know what I mean? Look at if you needed to clothe yourself or something like that. Imagine the extra change, what you could do with that. Do you know what I mean? Fill your cupboards and do everything. Do you see what I mean? Okay. Pay extra on your gas and lecky, especially if you prepayment. You know what I mean, Martin babies? And what happens? It goes into the damn tax man's pocket. But of course, we know what's going on, don't we, Martin babies? You know what I mean? Yes. But what's happening is more and more are waking up, aren't they? But of course, any businessmen, as we very well know, businessmen know, there we are, what the crack is, don't they? So this is why you find that, you know, there's more and more in there, and we're seeing it happen more and more and more. You know, in our old England, you know, a lot of the bigger, wealthier businessmen with their ka-ching, 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 you know what I mean? They have moved out of England, my delicious babies, you know what I mean? Or they only dip their foot back in England every now and again. Do you see what I'm saying? Yes, okay. Anyway, so until my next video, sending peace, love, harmony, and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves and your beautiful little families all be fully protected. And please continue to good vibrations, okay? And please, you just look after yourselves now then, my delicious little babies, and please try to take care of others as well, because we are in a bonkers, crackers, and crazy world. Yeah, but that'll probably be a one-off as well that I advertise. Okay, my delicious little babies. Yes, you know, should I decide to do it? Okay. But I'll just take another listen today. Okay, my delicious little babies. Yeah, and that's that really. So much love to you all. Thank you once again for listening. Have a beautiful time wherever you are in the world. Love ya. Goodbye.